I'm going to bring up one of my favorites as a comedy guy. It's a pleasure to bring this guy up here because I met him also in Indianapolis a long time ago, well before Matt Graham, a couple of years before Matt, and this guy's a great comic. Unfortunately for the people in the Boston community, he's moving to San Francisco in a couple of months to try and further his comedy career, which San Francisco is a happening place as far as comedy goes, and Boston's happening too, but pretty much he's fed up with all you people right now, and said, the hell with this, give me a fresh scene, give me a coast on the other side, please. And he's a great comic and one of my best friends. I know you're going to enjoy him. He's actually got you can think of him as the body of the Abraham Lincoln with the mind of John Wilkes Booth. A nice round of applause, Mr. Phil Van T.
Thank you. My name is Phil Van T. No, I don't hate you. I'll miss you all. I just flew in from Charleston, South Carolina, so I know what an audience is as far as being hard to please. They didn't get anything. I finally got so frustrated I put my hand up to my head like a gun. I said, I'm going to end it all. They didn't even get that. They started yelling, go ahead, jump. We don't care. Jump. Go ahead. Just jump, fool. Jump. So I'm glad to be here. I flew in on a TC-9. I'm glad the trip took about 2 hours. It took me almost that long to get my window open. Then the stewardess got all huffy just because I couldn't give her an accurate description of the little baby that got sucked out. What am I, a detective? Those kids all look alike at 9 months. Besides, this one was moving at a pretty good clip. I'm used to seeing babies crawl. This kid whizzed by. Can I have his beer nuts? What am I, the asshole now? Yeah. Like you were going to give him to a toothless infant anyway. And I was sitting next to a guy in a three-piece suit, and I'm dressed like this. I'm comfortable. Thought he was too, but he kept complaining the whole time. He kept saying, I wish some people would learn how to dress in public. I wish some people would. I finally got so frustrated, I said, listen, Prince Valiant. If we crash and burn, you're not going to look any better than me staring out of a mason jar, now are you? He shut his yap. I got off the plane before he did, kissed his wife. Sorry. So I'm glad to be here. Yeah, raked leaves. I came back today, so I was raking leaves already. I hate doing that. I'd always get them all raked up in a big neat pile. Neighborhood kids would come and swan dive into the middle of them, mess them all up. So I raked a big pile of them over top of a fire hydrant. Cushy, cushy. Have a clue, you little weasel. I love the fall. I like the summer, too. I've been having fun this summer. I've been playing lawn darts. Remember lawn darts? I was always afraid of lawn darts until I developed a crossbow that was big enough to shoot them. Cling! It's got a lot of torque. I always win now. The other team usually forfeits, claiming they've been impaled or some wussy excuse like that. Just kidding, of course. I don't actually shoot humans. They're too big, too slow, too easy. I take my crossbow to the city park for a real challenge. Something small, something quick. Chipmunks will do nicely. Say your prayers, Alvin. Or go for the really big game. Sometimes I take my crossbow to the airport and pick off low-flying Cessnas. Swing! Mayday, mayday. Bite the dust, Captain Phil Van T here. Watch it. I used to make up games like that because when I was a kid, kids would always tease me. So I played along. They'd always go for the obvious. Skinny bones, skinny bones. You're anorexic, you're anorexic. You could tread water in a garden hose. I was always afraid of those kids teasing me until I developed a crossbow that was big enough to shoot lawn darts. You could tread water in a garden hose. Boing! How you gonna float? You're anorexic. You're anorexic. Boing! In about 3 months, I'm gonna weigh a hell of a lot more than you. My own grandpa used to tease me. Grandpa Van T. You could walk through a harp, son. Grandpa Lobo Van T, as we call him. Lobo stands for lobotomy. Yeah, he got his back in 81, apparently by accident. Nobody will ever know for sure. It was one of those freak accidents. Yeah, he was outside playing shuffleboard, and he got hit right between the eyes with a lawn dart. Grandpa used to tease me, but he used to give me advice, fun stuff like, when I was about this big, he'd say stuff like, "Don't play with matches, Philip. Use a lighter. It's more reliable." "Don't be cutting into that golf ball to see what's inside, Philip. Any idiot knows what's inside of a golf ball. You aren't an idiot, are you? No, you want to see something really interesting? Hack into this aerosol can." My eyebrows smelled like right guard for 3 months. When I was 3 years old, my grandpa gave me a Doberman Pinscher. Great pet for a 3-year-old, huh? He named me. If it'll call you Kibbles. Good plan. I don't like pets. I don't need pets. I got enough wildlife in my apartment as it is. I got mice. I know I've got mice. They aren't afraid to show themselves anymore. Used to be just a little mouse hole at the base of the wall. Now they built a porch. They sit there in little mouse rocking chairs, drinking little mouse beers. And they point up at me and they laugh. "This idiot's paying our rent." It's great. I don't bother setting traps anymore. No, I just give them lots of money for more little mouse beers. And then when they get pie-eyed, I set up little toy cars and they get in and kill themselves on the highway. Maybe it's just me, but I think there's something at least intrinsically amusing about seeing that little rodent head plunge through the windshield. Drunken look of surprise on his face. You don't get that look from your standard steel traps. You might think it's the same, but study it. Definitely not. So, I'll go back to the skinny jokes just because I'm trying to get them out of my system. Grandpa teasing me like that all the time. All the time. If only he realized what goes around comes around. As I got bigger and Grandpa got older, I found out I could tease Grandpa. I always used to like to go to parades. I'd always be way in the back, standing on Grandpa's shoulders. And he'd just lay there saying, "Let me up, let me up." No way, Grandpa. Give me your wallet. I want a corn dog. Even if he did have a good sense of humor, he used to tease Grandma. That was fun to watch. Grandpa used to ride a motorcycle, but he mounted the sidecar on the wrong side, so Grandma had to ride facing the oncoming traffic. That's why we did that little lawn dart thing. Twang! They say you never hear the one that's coming for you. I yelled, "Grandpa!" But that was just to get him to turn around. You've been great. My name's Phil Van T. Good night.
Phil Van